Yo, 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 what's up, gang? This is your boy, Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Yeah, I am back, reinstated the show. As I mentioned in my post a little earlier, I had some good motivation and some inspiration, and um, yeah, thanks a lot to my dad for giving me that push, and then just reminding me never to give up, and always, no matter how hard it gets, just keep on fighting and keep on doing what you love. So big up to him. He's the real rock, not me. I'm just a little pebble compared to my dad. He's the real rock. And also a huge shout out to all of my other friends for all of the amazing words of encouragement and all the support. And also to the other guys uh, who gave me some really good criticism and some really good feedback. I've taken it, I've internalized it, and soon, I hope to give you an even better show. So, thank you once again to everybody for tuning in to the B Rock RC show. Uh, Hope you guys are safe and having a good, well, as good a time as you can, during this rough times. So just chill out, sit back, relax, and let's have a conversation about the goings on in the RC drift world. So, with that being said, I just wanted to touch a little bit about my last episode, episode 15, where I was just talking a little bit about all the different projects that I've been seeing around the world, and guys just trying to keep themselves busy in this lockdown period. And this guys are doing some amazing work. Not just out there overseas, but locally as well. It's incredible what the guys are doing. Um, and so for today's episode, I got a few really interesting uh, topics. One of them being, and I'm not sure if you guys had actually seen it already, but I've been following this brand for a little while now, and I recently saw that they've been busy developing a new chassis. Some of you guys already know the name. The brand is Oriolai, and they are busy with the new chassis called the EX Zone E30, and this thing looks absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit just now, but before I get onto that, I just want to give a shout out to my friends out in Sweden, Low Motion RC. I see these guys doing some nice work out there, and recently they've completed an outdoor track. Um, hey, what's up, guys? What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are my inspiration. Thank you again. So what I was wanted to first talk about now is Low Motion RC and the new concrete track which they built outdoors alongside the indoor track. Um, so I think they just wanted to mix things up a little bit and start introducing like a different surface other than carpet. I know most of the tracks out in Europe are indoor tracks. Of course, there are a few outdoor tracks, but dominated mostly by indoor carpet tracks. So it's nice to see that guys are going over to the concrete tracks, the polished concrete, and just having fun with that. So if you guys are in Sweden, please go and check out the new Low Motion RC track. It looks fantastic. The surface looks amazing, and you guys going to be very happy with that. Shout out to my friend Frederick Neptune from Sweden. Yeah, he contacted me after I started asking a few questions about the track, and he was very kind to send me a few videos. And I know he's done a live video of the track there, and he sent me a few pictures. Amazing little track, guys. We again, I must reiterate that we need to support our local tracks more than ever. Now's the time for us to support the local industry and support our local tracks. Make sure they don't close down. I promise you, you will regret it if your local track closes down. You don't know how good you have it until you lose it. You guys have great tracks out there, and it's a shame that we are losing the tracks, because one of the reasons being, well, with the lockdown period, we know things are difficult to move around. But one of the most critical issues why these tracks are closing down is because the local people are not supporting the local track. You have all of the equipment, you have brilliant RC gear, you have the skill, and all it takes is just a little bit of time, even if it's just once a month, couple of hours, go out, hit the track, and then after that, keep your stuff away for till the next month. But don't let your track close down. So yeah, once again, shout out to Low Motion RC. Go check the new track out. It's gonna encourage you to either get a new chassis to keep that with a concrete tune, or you're just gonna rock out with the one chassis and then just go all out. I promise you guys, you're gonna enjoy drifting on concrete. Most of our tracks here in South Africa are concrete tracks. They're either polished or they painted, or well, yeah, pretty much pretty much that. It's either polished or painted. My local track, my club track, it's also outdoors. It's a smooth painted concrete track. It's a fantastic, absolutely fantastic track. This thing is amazing. Um, Unlike other tracks, though, we don't have the chance to sort of change up the track itself. It's pretty much fixed, but barring a few sections where we can sort of cordon off and create something different, or maybe run the track in reverse. But it's pretty much fixed. However, it's an unforgiving track, and it's a lot of fun. Unforgiving in the sense that the track width uh, isn't that wide. We're talking probably between, I think our thinnest or narrowest track lane is probably about 900 to a meter, 900 millimeters to 1 meter wide, to about 1.2 meters wide at the widest section. So you really gotta be on point at our track, otherwise you're just gonna hit the barrier, and then we all know what happens after that. So yeah, man. Oh yeah. What's up, Cisco? Thanks for listening in. Thanks everybody for listening in. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Um, so yeah, that was Low Motion RC. The new, I'll say, new addition to the entire facility that they have. It's a brilliant new outdoor concrete track. Sweden, we know, is a beautiful place. You're gonna enjoy drifting out in the beautiful weather there when you guys have good weather, and it's gonna give you guys a nice dynamic to switch between carpet and concrete. What I would expect you guys to find after a while is that your tune between carpet and concrete is not going to change a whole lot. And this is speaking from experience because, like I said, here in SA, we have concrete tracks. And when couple of us went over for the Worlds and drifted on carpet and that kind of carpet for the first time, like myself, um, the tune actually didn't change a hell of a lot. I must be honest. Um, it was probably mostly a change in toe and camber. It was mostly front geometry that needed to be changed up a little bit with some weight distribution, but like that's about it. And that was us drifting on carpet. And then when I brought that same setting back to SA and onto concrete, that chassis was a demon on the track. So I think you guys definitely gonna enjoy that. Um, hey Paul, thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy the show. It's just a very chilled out chat about the RC drifting world. So hope you guys enjoy that. Um, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the drift scene in Netherlands. Um, so Netherlands has a bit of uh, how can I say a big place in my heart with regards to drifting because it's so far some of the best memories of RC drifting I have is all to do with the Netherlands. From Michelle and Claudia to the Worlds to my friends out there in Netherlands and the place, the weather, the people, everything about it. I love the Netherlands. Um, so, as most of you guys know, Michelle and Claudia have hung up their remotes indefinitely, and so the thing behind Tori Circuit, which is the track that they ran, sort of hung in a balance, and it was very encouraging to see that a number of guys got together and decided to take over Tori Circuit and run it, and um, they got themselves organized, they got together, they took over the track, and I believe they are now having a grand reopening on the weekend of the 4th of June. So all you guys who are in the Netherlands or close to the Netherlands and can get there, I encourage you to please go and attend um, uh, the reopening of Tori Circuit under new management. I'm sure it's an amazing track. I'm sure you guys are going to have a fantastic time there. And it's times like this we need to show our support to our friends. These are rough times. Who else are we going to lean on besides each other? We always talk about the worldwide drift family, and we always talk about how much closer the drift family is compared to other aspects of RC. We always mention how different the atmosphere is with drifting compared to other RC aspects. So let's show everybody why we say that, and we don't just say that, we actually mean it. So let's if you can get out there, go out to Tori Circuit on the 4th of June and show your support to these guys who are picking up the track from the previous owner. And from what I've been told, Tori Circuit is the only RC drift track in Netherlands. So that's something really, really huge, and you guys can't let that go. Now imagine if that track closes down in the Netherlands. Where do all the drifters go to drift in? You're going to have a percentage that's going to just give up, and then you're going to have a percentage that can only drift maybe once or twice a year, 2 or 3 times a year, because they have to drive over to other countries like Belgium and then Germany, and wherever else they can drive uh, to drift, and that's like what, 6, 8, 12 hour drive just to drift. Guys, we gotta change that. So you guys out there in the Netherlands, support Tory Circuit. It's your only track. How can you not support it? So please go and support it. Make sure your local track doesn't close down. Um, yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry about that. I was just reading a few of the comments. Yeah, that ties up Tory Circuit. Just another thing to add to what the guys at Tory Circuit are doing. They have introduced some merchandise which you can buy in support of the track, and then obviously all the proceeds will go towards the track, maintaining it, and all of the other expenses that come with running a track. So with that also, it means you're owning a little memorabilia of that track. And I don't know about you guys, but to me that means something. They also, I believe, they also have a membership system going on. So that's actually going to work into your favor if you join the club, which means you gaining access to the track at a cheaper rate, or however they structure their system. But it does qualify you to a number of um different offerings that they have. Uh, I'm sure all of that will come to light once they get the ball rolling even more. So that's going to be really really awesome for you guys out there in the Netherlands. Let's see what else have I picked up that's going on in Europe. Oh yes, another big thing going on in the UK. And I gotta give a shout out to all the guys out there who's doing such incredible work trying to band together to get all the tracks running in the UK. So guys like Dale Clements, Ben Ben Hocum, Daniel Harrison, and lots of other guys. I'm so sorry if I missed your names. So what these guys have done was, we know Dale Clements from ASPO RC, who always does these amazing raffles to just give back to the community, to the drift community. So he's got together to run a gigantic raffle uh, with stuff sponsored from end to end of the UK, and they put together a nice big package for a few winners, and I think all the tickets have sold, and I'm sure they've drawn the tickets already. But what I want to point out here is that in the whole the UK as a whole, they've all the major tracks, or all of the tracks, they have gotten together to save everybody. They've pooled their resources to help out each other so that none of the tracks close down, and that's incredibly inspiring and highly motivating and it's an example for the rest of us that perhaps we need to look at these kinds of ways in order to help each other out and keep everybody open, instead of hearing this heartbreaking news of one track closing and another track closing simply because they can't get resources to keep the track going. So it's a fantastic effort by these guys. Huge shout out to you guys out in the UK. Really well done, and we hope that all the efforts haven't gone in vain, and we hope that all your tracks stay open, because I know a lot of us really we wanna come over there. I think every drifter's sort of dream is to just travel the world and hit all the tracks from one side. I know that I would love to do that. I would absolutely love to do that. To just go traveling and just drift at all the tracks, all the way from Japan right through to the US, across the globe, just drifting everywhere. I think that'll be a dream come true. I don't know about you guys. What do you think? Would you consider doing something like that? You know, I mean, it would be pretty awesome if drifting became a profession. You know, like a professional RC drifter. That would be so cool, man. So cool. I'd love to do that. You're welcome, Perry. You know, me and you have become quite close. What I would say, we become quite close, and we become good friends. And it's the least I could do for everything that you've shown and done. You know, so really appreciate it. Um, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, and this is leading to another two big topics which I wanted to discuss. So the first one being the new chassis from Oriole. Um, and I had a fantastic conversation with the guys from there. And I asked him a few questions about the new chassis that they're busy developing, and they actually, like, in the sort of tail end of their development, because they are going to be releasing that chassis soon. That's the EX E30. And I'll give you those dates in a little bit. So a couple of things that really struck me about this chassis, and you know, it's a system that, and specifically I'm speaking about the damper system that they have developed for the chassis, and it's something that I've seen in cheapest. What's this chassis? Not the Hayabusa. Um, it's a Rajimani chassis. I can't remember if it's the Hayabusa or the other one. The name just it just slips my mind right now. But basically, it's almost like a McPherson damper system. So much like what you'd see on a real car, just almost exactly like that. Um, so I thought it very interesting to see that on this chassis, because I've seen the videos of the chassis running on the track, and this thing looks so amazing. It looks so smooth, um, and it just looks like a very strong contender out there. Definitely can be a comp level chassis, because I've seen it keep up with the YD2. I think it was an SX, but I'm not 100% sure whether it was an SX or what, but it was a YD2, and this thing was like on this car. So there's two things here: the chassis is fantastic, or the driver is fantastic, or it could have been both. But all I can say is, from what I've seen, this thing was a beast. Uh, Excellent grip on a low grip surface. Um, it gave you the grip and the power when you needed to push it. It kept well, good lock. This thing is a brilliant chassis, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'm able to get myself one of those chassis as well. Um, oh yeah, Victor, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, Japan. I somehow at some time I got to make my way down to Japan. I really, I'm like itching to get down there. I'm not sure if I wanna enter in any of the comps though. I don't know if I wanna enter the Yokomo International Meet or the one of the RCDC comps, because I think that I will just do absolutely terrible, terrible there. Um, and just and just listening from like James Simpson speak about RCDC and about the high level of drifting there, I don't know, it scares me a little bit. So back to this amazing Oriolai chassis that's going to be released anytime soon now. When I asked him about, I asked him about the style of this damper system, and he says that yes, it's similar to other systems that we may have seen, but the way he's developed it for his chassis is that we able to get at least 3 mils more of travel. So I think that's going to be very interesting when we want to tune the chassis. And I can say for our track that we run in my home track, although it's smooth painted concrete, the surface itself, it's not ultra smooth. So it's a bit undulating, and we have 2 embanked sweeps, and like I said again, the surface isn't 100% level and straight, so you get a lot of suspension action and damper action, and I think that longer travel is going to make a massive difference with getting grip within the track, and it's definitely going to be something to watch. They're also introducing a sort of floating motor mount that's going to come as a standard, I believe. Um, it's a bit tricky to describe without me having a video to show you guys. So that's another thing that I'll be working on. But if you can imagine the motor on a high motor mount, similar to, let's use the YD2 high motor mount as an example. So you got the motor sitting in a high motor mount position, but it's almost free floating. Or to give you a better idea of how it looks, if you can imagine the motor on a rocker system almost. So when you throttle, you get that motor action, you get the movement in the motor. So he's saying that, and I'm still trying to understand completely what he meant by this, but he's saying because it's minimal, you're only adding about 1 to 2% of action on the with the front and rear sort of action. If you get what I'm saying, the front to rear sort of weight balance. So I think it's not a hell of a lot, but it may just give you just just a bit of edge, just a bit of edge on the grip or the torque maybe. So that's going to be interesting to see. Okay, so Victor says, I'm not ready to travel to Japan to lose yet. Rather visit their tracks, learn from the drivers. I totally agree, dude. I totally agree. How's the material quality? I've never seen one in person. Okay, so what he had mentioned was that, and you guys gonna find this actually very interesting. It's actually gonna be very few parts that's going to be aluminium. I believe the chassis plate and just a couple other parts are going to be aluminium, and the rest of it is going to be like a resin plastic and 3D printed parts. So when he mentioned this to me, immediately it struck me that this is going to be a limited run. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the pricing is when it comes out, and how many pieces of or how many chassis will be produced, if he's going to be producing a whole lot. So I'm quite keen. I'm following that carefully, and as I know more, I will give you guys updates. So I'm very, very keen on that, and like I said, I hope I manage to get one as well. Um, so the launch or the sort of the release of that chassis is expected to be um towards the end of May, early June. Um, and I think this year, he didn't mention whether it's going to be next year, so it should be this year. Uh, and I must give a huge shout out to Audio Life for taking the time out and talking to me about this new chassis. He was very, very humble and very, very open with his answers to the questions. He didn't hide anything. Not that there's anything to hide, um, but I mean that he didn't approach it in a sort of inverted commas secretive manner. Um, and also, he explained that there's a few more things that he's done differently to the chassis to what's going to be out there, and which he will explain to me one thing at a time. So I think that's a fantastic opportunity for me just to learn a little bit more about what goes into R&D when these manufacturers put their mind into designing a chassis. So I'm good. That's very interesting. I'm very very intrigued about that. Um, so the last thing we spoke about the chassis was his intention behind developing this new chassis. So his whole intention behind this chassis was to, and I'm going to quote what he says, um, is to simplify vehicle settings so that novices can get started easily, which led to a whole another conversation, which is the next part of my topic. Um, hey, what's up, Daniel? Um, so yeah, so I found it very interesting. To simplify vehicle settings so that novices can get started easily. So that led to our next conversation, which is the next topic I want to talk about when it comes to rear wheel drive. So he's of the opinion that at the moment there isn't any rear wheel drive chassis out there that's novice friendly, that's beginner friendly. And that is why he's developed this new EX Zone E30 chassis. So I found that a little bit interesting, and then I can agree with him to some extent that um, there isn't there isn't chassis that's like novice ready, where somebody completely with no experience in RC can pick up a rear wheel drive and like, okay, just put it together and go and drive. And if he wants to adjust anything, it's very simple. Adjust, and it's done already. And perhaps this is the next step or the next evolution with the chassis development that that we're gonna get a chassis that's easy for novices to get put together and adjust. Um, so yeah, yes, Victor. Victor just says, just drive until you learn it. Victor, that's actually almost exactly what the guys from Oriolai had said. He said that whilst we should get to a point where we have a chassis that's novice friendly, the most important and critical part is um, to play to learn, and that I think there's nobody out there who can deny that fact. That the only way you learn is by going out there and doing it. And it's something also that I've been telling a lot of guys who have come to me and said, you know what, they want to drift, and they have a car, and can I help them? And if you guys know me, and I'm sure you guys know me, that I'm always willing to help and share advice and share knowledge and those kinds of things. And I always tell the guys, yeah, come to the track, but you got to put the car on the track. That's the only way you're gonna learn. You have to drive the track. Otherwise, you if you stand one side and act a little sheepish and shy and coy, you're not gonna get anywhere. You're not gonna learn. All you're gonna do is sort of steal with your eyes, look at how everybody is drifting, and you're watching the guys that got it right, who's drifting nice, and then you're just psyching yourself out. No, you gotta put yourself in there, put yourself in a deep, and just play to learn, like the guy said. Um, that was a very, very, very interesting conversation I had with him. And like I said, I agreed to some extent where there aren't chassis that are novice ready. Although, as Victor Ho had pointed out, the RMX RTR car is fairly good for a beginner. It's actually not that bad. Um, I must admit, though, I haven't personally, I don't have an RMX, and I haven't driven one that was straight out of the box. I've driven a few of my friends' cars, and they were already tuned, and they drive very well. Um, but again, that was after quite a lot of tuning and stuff. So the only car I've really driven straight out of the box was my own YD2, and for me it was different because I already had some drifting experience. So, but for the chassis that was put together and put on the track straight out the box, and this thing drifted, it impressed me. So I always suggest, for me, I suggest the YD2 over the RMX. Um, Simply because I find the YD2 a little easier to tune than the RMX. And after hearing the numerous stories and then seeing for myself the RMX gearbox just shredding to pieces, that's part of the reason why I also suggest the Yoko YD2 to guys who want to get into rear wheel drive. Um, so now, genuinely, if I had to be sincere, I suggest both those chassis because I find that to be the easiest out of all of them to grab and drift with. But for me, after getting the GARM, the Overdose GARM, it's another brand which I've wanted for like ages, and I finally got it. I'm absolutely loving it, simply because it's actually pushing me to fine tune my tuning skills a little bit more and my understanding of drifting and the drift chassis and what to do to get the most out of the chassis. So the thing with the GARM, however, is, and let's forget about the pricing of the parts and stuff. But the thing with the GARM is that it's not a beginner's chassis. It isn't. Although guys sort of put the YD2, the RMX, and the GARM sort of in the same category, the GARM isn't like the other two. It isn't as simple to tune as the YD2 and the RMX. And this is talking from experience. It requires a much finer eye and finer tuning than a YD2 or the RMX. So it's definitely for people with a little bit higher level of tuning, in my opinion. And I won't suggest that to the beginner. I'd say go YD2 and RMX and learn from that, and then if you feel you can handle it, if you feel you have a little better grasp of your of tuning, then go GAM. I don't. That's just my opinion. Um, well, okay. So Victor asks if I prefer the GAM over the YD2 for feel. I must admit that um, it's a bit of a tough question for me because my YD2 is like freaking rock solid, man. This thing is a beast on the track. I love the way it feels, the way it drives, the grip, everything about it. I love it. It's a monster. But when it comes to and the YD2, I must admit as well, I'm more chilled. I'm a lot more smoother with the YD2, a lot more easygoing. Um, so if I could describe it in inverted commas, for me, it's like a Sunday drive, nice and chilled and relaxed. But when it comes to the GAM, um, geez, for me, the GAM is like it, it's like a Hulk. It's like an absolute maniac. This thing is it's like a Wolverine. It's aggressive, and it makes me feel aggressive on the track. And if I'm following, I'm finding myself getting even more in the door and like sort of really applying the pressure on the lead car, and it's exciting to me. So um, it's hard for me to say whether I prefer the GAM over the YD2. Um, they both drive a bit different. They both have different feels. Um, but for the moment, I'm really enjoying the GAM, and I feel this. I haven't really driven the GAM as much as I wanted because I haven't got it to the point where I'm really happy with it. And part of the reason is, well, with this whole lockdown, I wasn't able to uh, go out to the track and get more time with the GAM because I've picked up a few more tricks. I don't know if you guys have been checking it out, or maybe you have the blogs from Takahiro-san on the RevD website, and well, his blog on Amiblo. So I've been following that, and I've learned a whole lot from those. So there's some things that I've been checking out, which Takahiro-san sort of helped me understand better, and it's things that I've asked a few friends of mine like James and Cisco. Um, so I've started to play around with the settings just to try and get more grip, and then just seeing what those kind of changes with regards to body roll, how it affects the chassis, and how making these small adjustments can help me get more out of the chassis. So I'm kind of looking forward to diving deep into that and exploring that side, that more extreme side of tuning. Excuse me. Hopefully, once the lockdown sort of ends or the levels become a bit lower, where we're able to move around just a little bit, so you can hit the track, see what it does, tune the hell out of this chassis, and then just destroy everybody on the track. That is my aim. That is my aim. So the GAM is going to be is actually my comp chassis that I'm still hoping to travel around with, and just 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 enjoy it, because I love competing, but I love just drifting with the boys as well. Yeah, man. I'm out for blood, dude. I'm out for blood. So Victor says, destroy everybody on the track. Damn right, because it's my time now. It is my time. But I mean that in the most fun and non-violent way as possible. Um, okay, so Victor says, I can't join this podcast anymore. I've been wanting another guy. Just go for it, man. Just buy it. Get the version 2. The version 2 is out already. And that comes with the new slide rack, um, the revised rear hubs, revised rear lower arms, and I can't remember this. I think there's one or two more changes in there that's included in the new GARM version 2. But yeah, it looks fantastic, man. You should definitely go and get one. Um, so yeah, man, that was most of what I wanted to chat about with regards to what's going on in the RC world. Um, so I think what I have noticed was that for the first couple of weeks of this lockdown, um, people have managed to keep themselves busy with the RC, and they had new projects which they finished up, and then started new projects, and then it rolled over to reviving old cars and getting that on the getting that on the road. And then I see it's sort of starting to dip now, because I think people are just running out of stuff to do with the RC. So, which is somewhat in a predicament where I am, because I've also kind of run out of ideas. So I had my Toyota Supra, which I finished off, and that was an adventure on its own. Um, then I dabbled a little bit with my GARM, and then I kept that away because I couldn't do more, because I need to track test it. Then the YD2, I actually just returned it to all its original settings that I had when I put it together from Worlds. So I returned that because I found that with all the changes that I've made, that has been the best setting for the chassis. Got it back there, and it's feeling fantastic. Um, then after that, I got busy with my D-like Evol, which was I had actually bought it as a CS chassis, and I ran it for a while as CS. And then I bought all these upgrades, like the knuckles and the shock towers and the front lower arms and the triangle arms, thinking that they are awesome upgrades for all-wheel drive, only to realize that no, sir, those are actually all parts for a rear-wheel drive conversion, which was confirmed to me by Hidetoshi's son. Um, and he was kind enough to sort of send me the link to the Amiblo blog, where he showed step by step how to go about the rear-wheel drive conversion. So I managed to get quite far with that, and then I hit a snag. I need front rear-wheel drive shafts, I need smaller bearings, I need turnbuckles, I need new rod ends, I need ball studs. All of these little things which I can't get right now because our postal system is completely shut down, and all our local hobby shops are also restricted from trade at the moment, which doesn't make sense. But unfortunately, that's a situation we're sitting on. I can't even order from overseas because it's just going to get stuck in the post, and I'm not prepared to pay DHL or UPS like huge amounts of money for little things like that. So that's just going to be put on a back burner until I get my stuff going. And then I do have another two chassis which I can work on. One is my Street Jam OTA R31, which I want to keep as CS, and I just want to get that going. Um, the reason for me getting that going is I feel like I haven't gotten the best out of that chassis, simply because at the time that I got it, I was lacking the knowledge and skill to operate that car and get the best out of it. However, now I'm absolutely confident in my abilities, and I'm sure I can get that chassis running pretty mean. So the next part of the project, and then finally my D-like RER hybrid. Uh, that car, I was supposed to have gotten it on the road already. Unfortunately, I can't because the rest of the parts that I need, which is just like the ESC and a few other bits, is actually waiting for me at the post office. But like I said, because our postal system is shut down, I can't get to it. So I'm stuck with that project. So other than that, that's about it for my little RC journey at the moment. Um, so I'm just trying to keep myself busy, keep myself in the know, trying to increase my knowledge on RC. So I'm also watching out what everybody's doing, and then also trying to lend a hand where I can, and I'm just trying to just keep in touch with everybody. Um, so yeah, man. This has been a really, really fun episode. I'm so happy that I was pushed to getting back into this podcast. I think perhaps the timing of the podcast is a lot better now because I see a much greater response and a better listenership, which I absolutely appreciate. So for that, I want to thank James for giving me a heads up on just with the timing. Just that feedback with regards to the timing was just brilliant, and I think I definitely see the difference, and I really appreciate it. So for all you guys out there who are still listening, you guys really should check out Pacecast on Tuesdays. Um, that's featuring James and Tice. They have an uh, incredibly informative uh, and visually entertaining podcast, which they run live off YouTube. And big ups to those guys for all the work that they do and all the help that they put in. Um, so yeah, after me on a Tuesday, which is tomorrow, catch Pacecast. Then either on Thursday or Friday, I'm not exactly sure of uh, which days exactly or whether it's a set day, but Scale Science also has a podcast which they are doing, and that started recently as well. So later in the week, also, you guys can always check them out. So just to reiterate as well, you guys can contact me anytime on Facebook or Instagram at Bob_rock. Follow me and I follow you. Um, and all of my episodes are uploaded onto my YouTube channel, which I then post onto Facebook. So you guys can also like and share and subscribe to those episodes. You can find all my previous episodes there. So from 1 to 14. I actually haven't uploaded episode 15 as yet, which I'm actually slacking now, so I need to do that. So yeah, I will upload 15 and 16 one time. Um, so yeah, guys, thank you again for listening in. You guys are absolutely amazing. A huge shout out to all my friends and especially my dad for pushing me to get back into the podcast and not to give up. Thank you, James and Tice for your help and your feedback, and to my homie Young for being one of the backbones of this podcast and for helping me with all the itty bitty bits, and then Cisco and just all the other guys who have been so encouraging. I really appreciate it. But most of all, most especially, I gotta thank my dad, who was the main instrument in getting me back into this podcast. So lots of love to my dad there. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I'm sorry if I'm starting to dip a little bit. It's starting to get quite late here in SA. But yeah, appreciate all you guys tuning in once again and showing your support. You guys are awesome. I will be checking you guys out on Facebook and just keeping a watch on what you guys are up to. And yeah, if you guys are out there and you want me to give you a shout out, either to your club, either to your track or your brand, just hit me up, man. I don't charge; it's free. So I just feel like everybody needs a lending hand, a helping hand at this point, even if it's just to get a little bit of exposure in whichever manner you can get it. I'm just trying to play a small part in helping you out. So yeah, just message me or leave a comment, and I'll get back to you. And then I'd love to talk about what you are up to, what your products do. And I'll end off this show with this local motto that we have in South Africa. Local is lekker. Just always remember that. Local is lekker. So how that motto came about was to instill inspiration in the local people to invest in the country, in the local industries across the board, no matter what it is. So I've been wanting to coin that term in the RC world. So globally, that is, local is lekker. Support your local industry first. Support your local community. Support your local hobby shop first before going out and seeking what you need from online or from overseas. I'm not saying don't support your online shops like Asia Tees or RC Mart or whoever else, Yeda. There's so many shops. All I'm saying is that look at your local hobby shop first, and then if they don't have what you need, by all means go wherever you need to go. But try your local store out first. Sometimes there may be a few coins more expensive than what you can get it elsewhere, but you must remember that what you're doing is you're not just paying a little bit extra for a product. You're also helping somebody keep their business alive. You're also helping somebody keeping their dreams alive. You're also helping somebody keep their income going so that they're feeding their family. And that's what Local is Lekker is about. Supporting locals, supporting your friends, supporting your friends' businesses. That's what's going to keep us all, going. That's what's going to keep this RC drifting community going. And that's what's going to keep this hobby going. Support your local first, then go out there. Also, and please, I make an appeal to all of you. Don't let your local track die. Go and support the track, even if it's just once a month. You come there, you go to your local track for 3 hours, 2 hours, even if it's just once a month, at that amount of time, please go and support your local track. Don't let it die down, because you will regret it if your track closes. So thank you all once again for listening in. You guys have been incredible. Thank you all, and stay safe. And I hope to see many of you again, be it at Worlds or be it just a visit to your country. My intention is at some point to come and visit you guys, be it the boys out in the US, Dory Lounge, DLC, and whichever other tracks I can find. The guys like Brandon Tench, also my homeboys, Rich Ario, Rob Fischetti, Chester Pang, Curtis, all you guys. I'd love to come out and visit you guys. And then out in the UK, you got Daniel and James and the Burns family and Ben and let's see who else was and Calum, both the Calums. Let's see who else. I can't remember. But yeah, and then in Germany, my boss man Daniel Christoph, and then the boys out in France, Anthony and Gregory and Sweden, and all you guys, Jenny and David. And then in Spain we got Jesse. Oh man, I'm going overboard. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, thank you once again for listening in. This has been another episode of the B Rock RC show. Catch me next week Monday, same time, same place, 9 o'clock CAT, or in brackets 9 o'clock South African time. So you guys can catch, you can work out the time zones when you guys can join in. And yeah, all the episodes are uploaded onto my YouTube channel, and I will post a link on my profile and spread the word there. And keeping on with the RC drifting and the drift projects. I will check you out, and hopefully we can talk about what you're busy with. So keep well, stay safe. See you guys soon. Peace.